after the loss. He said, I think that's a good word, disappointed. I have to do a better job. Absolutely. Tonight was very inefficient. Didn't do a very good job during the second half. Offensively, we just couldn't make the plays that were necessary to be efficient. We had plenty of chances. We've got to get them fixed. He was clearly very frustrated yesterday. I was actually surprised he continued to go to Leonard Fournette after the third drop there. He did not shake John Goff's hand after the game, which is clearly becoming a thing. I thought about it this morning because I noticed it right away that he didn't shake Goff's hand. And my initial reaction was like, wow, he's really going to do this again. And, I came to the conclusion that, when someone doesn't go out there and shakes his hand, then that's how it'll go. Like, I think people always shake his hand, obviously, because that's the thing that you're supposed to do after the game is shake the opponent's hand. I don't get too crazy about the whole sportsmanship thing because I think competitors get emotional. And so I'm not going to lose my mind about it. But I don't ever want to hear about if someone doesn't shake Tom Brady's hand after a loss that they're being disrespectful. That is what I don't want to hear. But look, they had a frustrating end to the game. And, that interception he threw at the end of the game was obviously brutal. He's had 9 so far this season. He threw 5 through 11 games in 2019 and only had 8 all of last season. So there's obviously a very big difference. Arians said today that he thinks Brady is getting confused at times with the coverage. He says that he doesn't see that at all in practice. We don't miss the deep ball in practice. That's for sure. Sarah Walsh tweeted that. So I don't know. Maybe there's a little something extra going on there.
Yeah, well, you don't have the Rams secondary in practice, and you don't have Aaron Donald at practice. So, meaning at practice you're not facing. I think the story last night I guess there's many, but in the last several weeks, the Rams defense, it's not as flashy as the Steelers. It's not as forceful. But the Rams' back end is so good, and they're such a smartly coached team. We all know the Steelers' defense is great. I think the Rams' defense is the most underrated side of the ball for any team in the league this year. We always kind of know Kansas City's offense is great, the Titans' run game. We kind of identify what's great. The Rams' back end is sensational. It's like 3 Pro Bowlers. They're rookies. Jordan Fuller had 2 picks last night. They have drafted the back end. And Jalen Ramsey is so valuable, Joy, because you're getting a big physical corner in a division with DeAndre Hopkins, who's big. In the NFC, Devontae Adams is big. DK Metcalf is big. So he just takes that kind of star player. Mike Evans is big. Jalen Ramsey has been a huge difference maker for the Rams on the back end.
And he's fearless. He wants to go up against the best competitor on the other side of the ball. I think it's a little bit has to do with as well what Nick Wright talked about earlier, which has always been the book on Brady. He does not like to get hit. He doesn't like a lot of pressure, and of course no one does. But it's what it is. If you can get pressure on Brady, you can get him out of his pocket and make him uncomfortable. He's not only going to make mistakes, but he's going to get frustrated, and that's what he was last night. I don't think it's all falling apart for the Bucs or anything like that, but this is just a new environment for Tom Brady. And again, because it's Tom Brady, we're going to have higher expectations of him and the team that he goes to, but they're a team with a new quarterback this year in a COVID-shortened season, so maybe our expectations are a little too high for the Bucs going into the season. So Doug Peterson has been very clear that Carson Wentz is not going to lose his starting job, even though they ask him every single week. But we could see more of Jalen Hurts in the coming weeks. Peterson said he's going to try and give Hurts an expanded role in the offense and get him in the game more in the near future. He's only played 1 offensive snap this week against Cleveland. He played 28 offensive snaps all season. He's completed 2 passes for 27 yards and also has 12 carries for 56 yards. I don't think that this is going to be something where we're going to see a complete transition in a game to Jalen Hurts, the starting quarterback. But what's going on in Philly, I think, is it's a grouping of things, right? It's never ever one thing, or very rarely is it one thing, because if it's that one thing, anyone would make that change, right? I think not having Frank Reich there has been huge. I think that the injuries has been almost insurmountable for any team, and we're kind of, smoothing over that because so many people have injuries this year, so we don't really want to give that as an excuse, but it is a factor. And the fact that Howie Long and Trent Dilfer said yesterday that he's not being coached hard enough, there's got to be something there. I mean, those are two people whose word I respect very much. If they're both saying, independently of each other, that Carson Wentz is not being coached hard enough, and this isn't an issue of all those other things. It's that there's no accountability with him. And it's kind of strange because that doesn't really seem like that's Carson Wentz's personality, that he's somebody that couldn't be coached hard. So is it on Peterson that that's not his personality to coach very hard, and that's where the mistakes are coming from? I don't know, but he's turning the ball over way too much. And if that's the case, that he can't be coached hard, then I don't know if that's fixable there.
Yeah, and I watched the Browns-Eagles game, and it just came. Philadelphia just has no offensive identity. They don't even. And Cleveland has a complete offensive identity. And you watched it, and it looked a little bit like a coaching mismatch, not just a quarterback issue or a running game issue. Good stuff for Joy Taylor with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
Joel Klatt around the corner, some college football. USC's even winning in Los Angeles. Dodgers won the World Series. Lakers won the championship. USC is 3-0. Good God, our teams here are good. They're really, really good. Joel Klatt joining us next. Some days you feel like you want to get in the car, sunny day, drive for miles. I get it. But for most of the country, from about, late October till early March, you got to make sure you can see when you're driving. You're watching these NFL games. You're seeing how problematic this weather is. That's where the new Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades come in. Extreme weather performance, crafted with Quad Tech. What does that mean? It's silicone with your wipers.